And welcome to the Davenport Coaches Show, coming to you live from Uccello's in Granite in Caledonia. We're here Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, and wherever you're joining us, we're going to talk Davenport football. Head coach Sparky McEwen is to my left. I'm Rick Berkey. Got a special guest, quarterback Mike O'Horo had a very fine game for Davenport on Saturday afternoon. The Panthers suffered their first loss of the season, a heartbreaking 32-31 verdict at home in front of a good crowd at the Farmers Insurance Athletic Complex. We'll also speak with a special guest as we're going to talk a little volleyball. Women's volleyball. Head coach Charlie Andrews will join us. We'll talk about that during the show tonight as well. And we'll also preview this Saturday's game as the Panthers hit the road again. The Road Warriors got to go out and do it one more time. Head down to Missouri, a long trip to take on William Jewell in University, their home opener. And we'll chat with that in the final segment of the show. But first we talked to Sparky about a game that, before we get into the game, we did have a good crowd there. And they had a good time, and they were cheering on the Panthers. It was a beautiful day. Everything but that final score probably was just how you wanted it.
Always good to get back home, like we talked earlier, being on the road, to start your season, it just seemed like we hadn't been there in so long, and to be able to come back and, play against obviously the best player in Division II college football and the highly ranked and in some polls the team that was picked to win a national title. Our boys are pretty excited about playing them, and I felt like they stepped up their level of competition and competed hard, but it was good coming home.
Going into it, you never know what they're going to do, but I thought that your guys played them toe-to-toe right from the get-go, and it was a coin toss game. I think you came away from that game feeling those teams played 10 times, they'd go 5-5 against each other.
Going into a game of that nature, if you would have said that, we were going to be in a game where the Harlan Hill Trophy quarterback, you held him to 20 points shy of what he was used to scoring, I would say, man, that would be extremely difficult to do, okay? But until you witness it firsthand, he's I've had the honor to coach a Harlan Hill Trophy winner, and Jason Vanderlaan. It was special watching how he play. The gentleman that we played against plays, just totally different. They throw the ball every other play, it feels like, or every play it feels like, and he controls the show, man. He calls plays, and he runs that whole team. And we did everything we could. And my hat goes off to our football players, our team, because I felt like they left everything out there on the field, and man, we were just a little short.
What surprised me, and I thought was one of the differences in the game, we knew Zabrowski could throw that ball all over the yard, and he did. He ran the ball well, and in key points of the game.
We knew going in that he was that type of runner. He moves extremely well, and I had my chances to really study him, quite a bit, and the protection, the way they build protection out. They've done a phenomenal job with building a protection around his skill set. He moves from pressure, and when he moves from pressure, he looks to throw. If he doesn't have the throw, he'll string it out to throw it, and then he'll take the run. And then when they have some designs runs for him as well, he's also tough. He's a tough hombre, man, and hats off to him. And wish them the best of luck all the way through. And, hopefully, we can face them at some point, down the road.
One of the things we've touched on that got a little better more in the direction you wanted, but not at all what you need, and that is your running game. Just held to 55 yards for the day, and you're throwing the ball well, and hopefully that'll open up the running game more.
Yeah. Our scheme is one that, it's kind of one of those deals where, pick your poison. We'll allow a team to dictate what we're going to do, offensively. And, with what we're doing new in our scheme, we're not the same offense that we were the last 2 years, and we were a good offense. But, with the emergence of the two quarterbacks and, the skill guys that we have, we're a little more wide open now. We have some guys that are what we call good yak guys, yards after the catch. And so I'm excited to see where this thing goes. And, this, I think, when you and I talked about this, we truly have been just skimming the surface of what I thought this offense could do. Michael had a tremendous game for us. And Dewan, it's good to get Dewan back. Dewan's ready to roll. He was a little ill. He was under the weather.
He wasn't 100%, was
No,
he?
he was a little under the weather. And he's tough, man. He was a little under the weather, but he's ready to roll. And both those dudes they're legit. I got two legit guys, like I was telling you, and I'm excited about both those guys as they lead our football team.
One of the things that came out was the value, and we talked a little bit about using Myron out of the backfield and Kendall out of the backfield. A little action, a little play action, and a little 5-7 yard pass can turn into a 60-yard touchdown, as we saw.
Yeah, these are the things that, you witness early, even going back to the Thomas More game on the first play from scrimmage to, K-Dub, and now all of a sudden Myron does the same thing. Now we have two quarterbacks that can do the same thing. And, Preston and, the Meach, so we've got some weapons. We just got to continue to stay consistent and, keep our focus. If we keep our focus, man, our team could be tough to handle, because defensively, we're doing some really good things, man, out there defensively. And, we gave up 500 yards, but, going into this game, we knew what, the quarterback was capable of over there. And you're not going to stop him. You just want to kind of contain them and control things with them when it comes to the clock and how fast they score and things like that. And I thought we had a gem going there. I really did, and we were close.
You mentioned the defense. Xavier Marquez, a game-high 9 tackles, had a sack and 2 TFLs. Came up big for you.
How about getting him back? He's been out, and getting him back, he came up really big for us. And, because we've had a couple kids out just due to, some bumps and bruises, coming out of a tough camp. And so it was exciting to see him come back and play as well as he did, especially in this type of contest, and we look for players to make plays in big moments. And as a staff, we talk to our players about that. When you play good football, man, your stars have got to show up. And that's at every level of football, whether it's, Division I level, NFL, in big games, big players show up big in big games.
All right, Sparky, why don't you go have some of that great Uccello's food. We'll come back later in the show, talk about this week's opponent. You head down to Missouri, take on William Jewell. Sparky McEwen, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and talk a little volleyball here, as we'll be joined by volleyball coach Charlie Andrews. Stay with us as the coaches show from Davenport. The Uccellos in Caledonia continues here. Hear me, now you can hear. And we roll on with the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccellos in Caledonia. Always a great place to stop out. They've got a zillion TVs, large, larger, and largest. You name it, they've got them. All kinds of sports out there. Tigers are playing, and Tigers are winning already tonight. 2-0. Good to see that. Hope they can get closer again to that playoff spot they're trying to acquire. And before we talk volleyball, I want to send a special greeting out to a big member of the Davenport Athletic Department. Hannah Paddock is celebrating a birthday, 21 years old. Happy birthday, Hannah. And so congratulations to her. Charlie Andrews is the first-year head coach at Davenport women's volleyball. She was an assistant last year and under Brian, and now you're a head coach. Let's talk a little bit about that transition. When did you first start hearing about the chance to become the head coach at Davenport, and what were your initial thoughts when they talked to you about it?
Yeah. I mean, when Brian told me that he was leaving, obviously shocked, right? Sad. But he had mentioned to me, hey, I think you should go for the job. And I was like, are we sure? Are we sure that I should take that on, right? Like, this is only my third year coaching college, but luckily I'm surrounded by great people that are supporting me and helping me through this. So, once I just went for it, I just went for it.
Charlie, let's talk about that transition. So far, what's the biggest adjustment from being an assistant coach to the head coach? Because I know there's a lot of them.
There is a lot. There is a lot. I think the more behind the scenes. There's
like
a lot
annoying interviews you got to do.
Yeah, exactly this. No, not at all. No. Like the administration work, stuff that you just don't even think of when you think of coaching volleyball. And like just stuff that I forget on a daily basis. I'm like, oh, I have to do this. But we're getting the hang of it.
Before you came to Davenport, you were an assistant at Hope College. Tell us about your time at Hope and how that prepared you on your step to eventually get here.
Yeah, that was my first year coaching college. That was just a great experience. Becky Schmidt, Kiri Lahaki, head coach, assistant head coach there. They were just amazing. I didn't have a big role, nor should I have, but I learned a lot there and kind of helped me prepare to take that next step. Yeah.
You were at Western Michigan, where you had a very fine playing career at Western. Tell us about your days in Kalamazoo.
Yeah, I was there for 2 years. The best 2 years of my life, to be honest with you.
It was the best 7 years for me, but at Western.
You were a Bronco?
7 years, yes.
Okay. Fellow
no,
Bronco.
it didn't really, yeah. But anyway, again, good experience for you, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Athletically and academically.
It was amazing. Yeah, I still talk to the class that I graduated with. They're amazing.
So she played college volleyball to Division I level, but what's really interesting about Charlie is that prior to going to Western Michigan, she competed as a heptathlete at Michigan State. Now, a heptathlete is 7 different events.
Yeah.
So you're obviously a fantastic athlete. That seems like a major transition from 7 sports to becoming a volleyball player.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I used to be an amazing athlete, not so much anymore. That was
But
back
you
in
were,
my
obviously,
prime.
you're doing 7 sports at Division I. You are a superior athlete. But where did you, when did you decide I'm going to focus on volleyball, and what drew you there?
Yeah, I had done 2 years at Michigan State. I had broken my foot 4 times, different spots, and it just kind of dawned on me, hey, the toll that the 7 different events are putting on my body is a little bit too much, so I decided to transfer, and then just emailed the coach and kind of went from there.
Couple of things on your team right now. Again, first year head coach, you're learning on the fly. You already said that. Team just 2-8 on the season, dropped a couple of league plays, but you got a very young team as well as some experience on it. Let's talk about the team overall.
Yeah, we're young. I mean, we've got 5 fantastic seniors, but I think in terms of experience on the court, we are young. We lost a ton.
Seven newcomers.
Yeah, 7 newcomers, 6 freshmen, 1 transfer. So we're just getting used to playing with each other. I think team chemistry on the court is a lot, and we just haven't had a ton of time to play with each other. But every single day of practice and games, we're just getting better.
One of those returnees that's playing really well for you, sophomore Abby Allen.
Abby Allen, yep.
Tell us about Abby.
She's just a good kid. She's just a good kid. She just works hard. She's just that one kid that you don't have to worry, are they going to show up to practice? Are they going to be intentional? She just does it. She wants to get better, and you see that drive just every single day. And she's going to be really good. She's good right now, but just wait. Just wait.
Well, one of your also returnees, key on the floor, and also in terms of leadership, your senior Emma Turnquist.
Yeah, we call her Tea Time.
Okay, I like that.
Emma is, I mean, she's huge. Not only on the court for us, but as a vocal leader and with a young team, that's something we need. We need somebody to kind of calm the court when things get chaotic, and I think she does a great job of that.
A couple of those freshmen that are playing well for you so far, Rachel Youngblood and Haley Carr.
Yeah.
Tell us about them.
Yeah, 2 huge positions for a volleyball team. Haley Carr, libero, She's obviously on the court, 6 rotations, passing the ball really, really well. She's been amazing. Rachel Youngblood, she was all tournament team in our Nashville tournament. She's a pin. She's doing a great job. And there are a lot of freshman moments right now, a lot of growing pains that we have to work through. But for them to be so young and to take these positions, it's been impressive to watch.
Now, one of the challenges you've got there with that blend is you've got some upperclassmen and a lot of newcomers. How do you mesh them together, maybe off the court as much as on?
It's tough. It's tough to be honest. As much as I tried to implement something, they were just, as soon as we got on campus, they were just gelled. They were gelled. I mean, they're just best friends, and I love to see that. The freshmen all have their own little personalities, and I think our seniors do a great job of letting them be authentic, letting them be themselves so they feel comfortable, and I think that's what a team and a culture is.
Where's home for you, Charlie? Where'd you come from?
Battle Creek, Michigan.
Okay,
Yep.
So you're a West Sider all the way along?
Yes.
All right. How do you like living in West Michigan, up here in the Grand Rapids area?
Oh, my gosh, I love it. There's just so much to do. I mean, anything you could ever want to do, there's something
it's within
to do.
30 minutes, isn't it?
It really is.
That's
really
fantastic.
Is.
Well, again, what do you have this week on the schedule?
We are heading to the UP tomorrow. We've got Northern and Michigan Tech, both 2 really good teams, so we've got a battle.
And you got a long trip, too, so that's an adjustment there with the travel and the overnight and meals and everything. That's another thing that you've had to throw on your plate, isn't it?
Yeah. Luckily, I have a fantastic staff, Joey and Sydney, so they kind of make sure that things run smoothly from that perspective. But, yeah, they're amazing. So.
All right. Well, Charlie, we appreciate you being here. It's great to have you on board as the head coach of the women's volleyball program right now. And your first season is going to get better and better, I can tell, as you go along here. Yeah. And thanks for stopping by. Go get some of that Uccello's food.
I will. Of course I will. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back with a special football guest. Quarterback Michael Horo joins us as the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's continues. At the 20-yard line, O'Horo to pass, looking. He throws it long, gone over the middle, up in the air, caught for the touchdown! Touchdown, Davenport! Preston Smith went up and got it. And that was one of the exciting plays from Saturday's game against Central Missouri. A touchdown pass, one of 3 for the gentleman on my left. Quarterback Michael Horo joins us, the redshirt junior from Boardman, Ohio. Mike, we were talking with Coach. Certainly, you can't celebrate a win, but you had to feel good. Your teammates competed against one of the top teams in the nation. You went toe-to-toe right from start to finish. Just came up 1 point short.
Yeah, it felt really good that we were able to put it all together as a team. Obviously not the outcome we wanted, not the outcome that we worked for throughout the year, but definitely felt good to put it all together as a team. And just going forward for the rest of the season, I feel like it helped kind of build some momentum offensively for us.
Felt good to play in front of the home crowd finally, didn't it?
It definitely did. It almost felt weird after so many trips on the bus, 2-day trip. So felt good to be at home and open up at the farm.
Coach, he was upfront about it. He talked to you after 2 games, and he liked some of the things you'd done, but he wasn't happy with your completion percentage, and that was a focus for you going into last week. 21 of 30. 327 yards and 3 touchdowns. So you certainly made strides in that area.
Yeah, no, for sure. Coach Sparky all week was just talking to me about my process and just kind of work through things and the basics. So simplifying everything, going through my reads, and getting the ball out quick was a big factor in having a decent day out there.
Mike, you came to us from Saginaw Valley State, threw for over 1,000 yards there one year, and then joined us. Tell us about the transition. When did you first start thinking about going to Davenport, and what eventually led you to come here to West Michigan?
Yeah, so after I entered the portal back in December, I really wasn't sure where I wanted to go. Didn't have a school in mind. The coaching staff here had reached out to me pretty quickly. Then after a visit, it really just felt like a place that I wanted to be at in terms of a coaching staff and offense, and the players I'd met when I was here on my visit. It really made it hard to talk to any other schools because I'd loved it so much, and it was one of the first schools I'd actually talked to and went on a visit with.
Tell us a little bit about the portal, because I know for a fact there's a great misconception by a lot of the public out there. They think any player puts their name in the portal and the phone starts ringing, and every day you get 5 or 6 calls. Somebody asks. It doesn't necessarily work like that, does it?
No, it does not. I've seen the good and the bad from the portal. For me, I had been playing and been in college so long that I was more in a better spot. But for some people, it's not the best thing. But you just have to set yourself up and do what's best for you, as long as it's respectful for the institution you're leaving and to the one that you're going to.
Let's go back before you even went to college, back at Boardman, Ohio, under your high school coach, Joe Ignazio. Had an outstanding career there. Tell us about Coach Joe and what you learned from him in Boardman.
Just a great overall human being. He's actually not at the school I graduated from. He went to another school and won a state championship recently. So great coach, great leader of men. Learned a lot from him from a leadership perspective and just how to go about life and how to treat people. So great human being, and I love my time under him.
Speaking of life, can you think of another player, another coach, or a person that was really influential in your development as a person, not necessarily as a player?
I just think about Coach Jason Congo and Coach Chris Reese, both two of my high school coaches. Really helped me transition from just a high school kid to someone who became a leader, and really outside the classroom. Talked about E plus R equals O all the time, which is event plus your response equals the outcome. So if something doesn't go your way, but if you respond the right way to the situation, it can go how you need it to go.
You've had a chance, Mike, to look at the film after the loss on Saturday. Again, the 3 touchdown passes and over 300 yards passing, but players always look at the film and say, boy, I could have done that better, I could have done that better. How did you view your film evaluation from Saturday?
Really, that's exactly the best way to put it. There were some opportunities left out there that I wish I could have had back, especially late in the game. I think first 3 quarters was pretty decent, but that fourth quarter when things really start to matter more, definitely some stuff I wish I could have back. So it sucks, but it's one of those things where it's good that it happened because now we grow from it and work to make sure those things happen the way we want next time.
Now, Mike's an Ohio native, so we're going to forgive him for being a Cleveland Browns fan. Okay, we'll overlook that for the time. That's all right. Be loyal to your home state. Mike, majoring in economics and marketing. What are you thinking about doing with that degree once your football days are done?
Yeah, so got my degree in economics and marketing, currently working on my MBA. I really just want to get into the business world. I want to get into real estate, both commercial and multifamily residential. So really going down that path once I'm done with football.
We got to get you together with Chris Hughes, our soccer coach. He runs a real estate firm.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, check him out.
That's awesome.
As well. Tell us about your family. Where are they now? Are they still back in Ohio? And how often do they get a chance to come up and see you play?
Yep, we're in Youngstown, Ohio still. Both my mother, father, my brother and sister both play college athletics as well. But my dad, he's a road warrior. He comes to almost every single game. He'll be there this weekend. He doesn't really – distance doesn't bother him. He's able to grind it out in the car. My mom's come to a couple games as well. Not as much as a car lover as my dad, but she's always coming to games, and they're both really supportive. And it's always great to have them in the stands and know they're there.
All right, Mike, give me a couple things this team has to do better than we did Saturday in order to knock off William Jewell in Missouri.
just limit penalties and play our brand of football. We're a really tough group of guys, and we're have some athletes. So we focus on our game and limit the penalties. I think we'll have a lot of success. I think when we had drives that didn't have penalties, we had success on Saturday, and we just have to replicate that going into the rest of the season.
Mike, we're lucky to have you here at Davenport. We look for big things for you the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Mike O'Horo, redshirt junior from Boardman, Ohio. We're going to take one more break, come back, and Sparky will join us once again. We're going to talk about this week's game at William Jewell down in Missouri. Stay with us on the Davenport Coaches Show. Final segment of the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. Stop out, enjoy the great food, the great atmosphere. Again, all the huge TVs out there. Where Tigers are winning 2-1 right now as we broadcast currently. But Sparky McEwen joins us to look ahead to this next road game. You head down to Missouri, another long trip, a couple days down there, and you'll take on William Jewell, a team that is 3-0 on this young season, and all three on the road. Pretty impressive.
New coach, new style, different scheme. Man, I can't say enough great things about what they're doing. You know, to come in and take over that program and have this team undefeated says a lot about what he brings, to this university and, as a culture. To go 3-0, man, to win one game is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but he goes on the road and he's getting it done. Says a lot, but he's won a lot of football games in his career, and he's surrounded his players with some outstanding men that knows how to work with the young people. And now you see the response that he's getting. They're 3-0. They're going to be extremely, extremely high. To have a home opener like we did last week, and we expect nothing but a very competitive battle out there.
And it's really going to be a big deal for them because they haven't played a home game in 2 years. They played on the road all last year while the stadium's being refurbished, so they'll really be hungry and enthusiastic, I'm sure.
Yeah, the student body will be out, and the community is going to be out, and they're doing some big things over there. They're doing some big things, and so hats off to them and what they're doing. But our focus is on us. Our guys know what we need to do. We got to go out and play 4 quarters. We got to be more consistent than what we were, last week. And we can't beat Davenport. We got to go out and play really good football. We got to just play really good football and don't worry about the scoreboard. Focus on each play, every player. And, at the end, when the smoke clears, may the best team win.
Well, you mentioned the players. Well, you take on the top quarterback in Division II last week, so how are you rewarded this week and the next week? The top running back in the country right now in Division II, Keandre McCullough's averaging over 200 yards a game.
We're going to, once again, our hands are going to be full with how we got to go out and compete, and, our schemes got to change. We're going to stop, this guy. We can't play the same way we did this week. So once again, you're going to have to battle the logistics of getting all the way over there, and then you have to battle the fact that you got a great football player and a great scheme. Man, this staff and this team, I can't tell you, man. I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish and achieve in such a young season. But we gotta get this thing going. We gotta get this thing going, and We've had a really good week of practice thus far, and we got to go out there and we've got to play mistake-free football. We got to tackle. We got to put pressure on the other passer. We just got to do things the right way.
Now, you've played 2 quarterbacks liberally this year, but they've played 3 quarterbacks. I don't know if one was just in mop-up, but they've played 3 different quarterbacks. Are they drastically different in style?
One of the things you have to remember is that they do have the leading rusher and that running back. Okay, so they're just trying to figure out what's going to complement him well.
As they should, right?
What's going to complement him. And, they've got a couple kids that's doing a pretty good job. They got some young people there. Don't forget now, this is the coach's first year. He's playing a lot of young players as well. So he's building this team around his style, his culture that he wants to set there. And, like I said, hats off to him, man. He's still trying to figure out some things too. But it's nice to figure it out when you're 3-0, and tinkering with different things. But all of them are very competitive. And all I know is that running back, he's given us some sleepless nights.
So after 2 long trips already, you go again another long trip. Tell us about the travel plans, where you'll stop and stay the first night and beyond.
We'll leave tomorrow morning, and we'll end up in Springfield, Illinois, and we'll spend some time there, and then we'll move on over the following day over to Liberty City, Missouri. And, the logistics of the trips are tough because, our travel party, we're going to be right around the areas of 90, 92 in our travel party, and making sure the accommodations are good for everybody involved, and then, just get over there safely, have our meetings, have practice, and then shut it down and get ready for a big football game.
Couple of key areas, you've already mentioned them, but a couple of areas you focus on. You've got to do better. You mentioned penalties. You mentioned tackling out in space. Maybe 1 or 2 other areas that you need to really be at the top level of this week.
You have to, and we actually did a pretty solid job this past week. Of tackling.
I thought so.
And that was one of our major emphasis areas. Throughout the week is to get people down to the ground. Now, once again, we got to do it again. We got to get people down to the ground. And the other thing is for us, we've been pretty solid on the turnover, plus minus. So other than that, we're still getting better. I feel like our football team's actually, still has room to grow. But for me, I want to speed up this process because there's some other things that I would like to do with this football team. And I've told our student athletes that, we have some plans for them, But if they're not ready for those plans, we got to stay right where they're at, get them better, get them ready for that, so we can take that next step to where we need to be.
Well, don't forget, if you want to listen to the broadcast Saturday, you can listen for free at dupanthers.com and our radio partner 96.1 The Game. That's right, they like that radio station. Now the Tigers just scored to expand the lead to 3-1. Tigers making a playoff push, Coach.
I'm a Yankees fan.
That's right. I knew that. I shouldn't have.
If they, I look forward to playing them. I really do.
Well, it would be good right now.
It would be good for the community.
Yeah, it would. Coach, thanks for joining us again. We look forward to talking with you next Wednesday here at Uccello's in Caledonia, and hopefully talking about another win and getting ready to play at home one more time. Thanks, Coach.
Go Panthers.
That's going to wrap it up here from Uccello's in Caledonia. Thanks to Ryan Thompson for our production work here today. So for our special guests, Mike O'Horo and Charlie Andrews, and head coach Sparky McEwen, this is Rick Berkey saying thanks for tuning in, and